This is a 1953 Triumph 6T Thunderbird 650. Halfway through, or 3/4 of the way, roughly, through a restoration. The front end is still the previous owner's chopper version. That replacement is on the way. Get into that in a second. That's why the wiring is still exposed, because the wiring will go into the new headlight once that's all taken care of. Handlebar is going back down to where it belongs, above the tank. Generally, from there back, the restoration is pretty much complete. Just a quick flashback to the bike before the restoration. Quick shout out to the previous owner who did a great job of storing it. It had been oiled and stored indoors, so everything, bolts came out of it like they were just put in. A couple of mechanical issues, the stuck valve and the electrical and everything. Rubber had to be replaced, of course, but I wanted to give you a look at what it looked like before I started. The engine was in good shape. The only issue was a stuck exhaust valve on the left-hand cylinder. That's been dealt with. She ran last time we started her, but it's been a little bit of a while. I did leave the AMO dual carbs on it rather than the monoblock. I have a monoblock, but I'm not convinced it's the right one. I might go back to the mono, but we're going to see how she runs on the duals. I put the original exhaust back on instead of the sausage pipes the previous owner preferred. Went with the horn on the back because I like the way Ace Cycles does it. Not ashamed to say it. Like the regular Lysette seat as well, replacing the bench seat that was on it. Mudguard in the rear was a partial with a sissy bar on it. That's been replaced with the original complete mudguard and all the stays. Brakes have been kind of rebuilt to be back in line with the center mudguard. I don't have the plate piece and rear light in place yet, but that's all done, and that will go on next. Everything else is pretty much stock. I had to replace most of the electrical system, including the wiring harness and the rectifier, but I did, or voltage regulator, but I did put a regular regulator in it and avoided getting into any solid state stuff because I like the soul of the original Lucas Ghosts, so we're going to stick with that. I did go with black. I don't know what the original color of this bike was. It had been painted and really taken down before I got it, so it was not a stock color. It might have been blue, but I like the look of the Blackbird, and it's my restoration, so that's what we're doing. In terms of the front fork, the fork I'm replacing it with is another girder. I'm going to keep, that's actually an old Honda front brake, but replacing it with another girder, but black, basically because I didn't want to get into the whole nacelle replacement. The front fork was lost on this, no idea what happened to it. So by the time I got it, it had this fork on it, and replacing the nacelle and all the pieces and parts and gauges was above my restoration budget. So sorry, purists, but if you have a complaint, feel free to write it on a nacelle headlamp structure and mail it to me, and I will continue to go from there. It's Sister of the Norton in the background. I'll do a more detailed one if anybody's interested, but that's the general walk around of a 1953 Triumph 6T Thunderbird. About, like I say, 3/4 of the way through restoring.